What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Financial Coach Jess, and in today's video, I am going to be answering your questions about Bookkeeper Launch. After you watch this video here today, make sure you check out my Bookkeeper Launch playlist where I talk about the full program review of Bookkeeper Launch, my journey to 100K in bookkeeping revenue, how to get your first paying client, and more. If you have a question about Bookkeeper Launch that is not covered in this video today, make sure you drop it down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future videos and like this video if it helps you make a decision about Bookkeeper Launch. Let's go ahead and jump into the questions. Here's the first one that I see a lot. Can this become a part-time job for evening and weekend hours? I have a full-time career that I love, but I'm very interested in doing bookkeeping part-time. Yes, I would say 1000% yes, especially if this already complements your full-time job. Maybe you already work in an accounting office, you're a realtor, or you're an insurance agent, and it's very natural for you to already be networking with other small business owners. You have to make sure that there is no conflict of interest and maybe think about signing a non-compete, but the great thing is bookkeeping does coincide really well with a lot of full-time careers. Even if you eventually want to do bookkeeping as your full-time job, not very many people can or should quit their full-time job after purchasing the course, unless you're an accountant and you just want to use Bookkeeper Launch to further your business that you already have. Most people will be doing bookkeeping as a side hustle when they purchase the course. One other quick aspect of this is that if you can only work weekends or you can only work evenings, a lot of people see this as a limiting factor when starting their business, but I actually see this as working in your favor. The flip side of this is that I only work Monday through Thursday during regular business hours, and this is just simply not going to work for some clients, and that's okay. I've structured my business in a way so that my working hours are really a non-issue for my small business clients. As long as you're upfront and clear about your expectations, it'll be a non-issue for you too. Here's the next question that I get a lot, and that is, my biggest fear is not finding clients. How does Bookkeeper Launch help with this? This was definitely my biggest fear, my biggest doubt going in and purchasing the course and quitting my full-time job as well. And I get questions very similar to this that sound like, how long does it take to get my first client? What happens if I have to fire a client? Or what if a client fires me? I am 100% sure that after this video has been up for a month or two, the comments below will be flooded with success stories and people that rave about Bookkeeper Launch. It is such a thorough program, and it really does take people who don't know anything about small businesses and turns them into bookkeeping business owners. I honestly don't think that the true question here is Bookkeeper Launch worth it? Will Bookkeeper Launch work for me? It's been proven. It's a tried and true program. The question really is, am I committed to making this work? Am I willing to get uncomfortable? Am I willing to get out of my comfort zone? Instead of telling you all the ways that you can get your first paying client, because I do that in this video right here, I'm going to go over the obstacles and the things that people get hung up on that hold them back from getting their first paying client. Imposter syndrome, procrastination, comparing your entrepreneurial journey to someone else's. I think all of those really fall under self-sabotage. You have got to work on your mindset as a new entrepreneur. It's absolutely crazy to think that our mindset can 100% derail us and keep us from reaching our goals, but it's true. My advice is to start small. Network with CPAs and tax accountants in your area, and maybe even work under them during the upcoming tax season. This is a great time to have work outsourced to you in a safe place to ask questions and get advice when their time is better spent doing taxes than doing bookkeeping. Another way to build up your confidence is to work with startups in your area and get familiar with QuickBooks Online. I will warn you though, I I did this and I absolutely fell in love with startups as a niche. And even today, I love working with new entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people who are just starting up their business, and I love helping them with cash flow and maximizing their profits in the first few years that they're open. Another obstacle to getting your first paying client might just be limited time. This is why it's so important that you don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Just because someone in the Bookkeeper Launch Facebook group signs 30 clients in their first year of business doesn't say anything about how you are doing in your business. You can read stories like that all day long in the Bookkeeper Facebook group, but here's the thing, as soon as it goes from being inspiring to comparing your journey to someone else's, it very quickly turns into self-sabotage and doubt. There are so many variables involved in this comparison, like experience, time available, goals. I could go on and on. There's just so many variables. You have got to trust the process, stay in your lane, and be prepared that just because it takes you a little bit longer doesn't mean that you are doing things wrong. I'll say it again, trust the process, stay in your lane. Comparison can kill your mindset. Another question is, what is the return on investment? So I answered this question about 6 months ago on my YouTube channel in my video, My Journey to 100K in Bookkeeping, but I wanted to give you guys an update. So I recently crossed the $200,000 revenue mark for the lifetime of my business, and over half of that has been in the last 12 months. Do keep in mind, I have multiple streams of income within the business and multiple services that I offer, but I know people are gonna go in the comments and say, well, when you purchased the program in 2017, it was a lot cheaper than it is now. The price has jumped way up, blah, blah, blah. And while they're not wrong, Bookkeeper Launch was a little bit of a flyer investment back in 2017. Since then, there are many Bookkeeper Launch grads doing multiple six figures every single year. The program itself has had several major overhauls. And even with all of that, I think that people complain about the price and complain that the price is increasing are really just above everything else missing the point. These types of people are focusing on the cost of Bookkeeper Launch rather than the value. I literally just told you I have done $200,000 in revenue since purchasing Bookkeeper Launch. Over half of that was in the last 12 months. Do you really think I sit alone and think about, man, I really just wish I could have got $500 off the price? No! Honestly, if this is your obstacle, if this is what's holding you back, to be frank, you're splitting hairs and I smell self-sabotage. If you commit to this and you follow through, you are not gonna look back and think, I wish I would have waited for a Black Friday sale. Again, it's not, is Bookkeeper Launch worth it? The success stories are undeniable. There are literally thousands of them. The question is, are you really willing to commit? If the answer is yes to that, then it's a good investment for you. Next question is, how do I scale this business to make $6,000 a month consistently? I love this question. The very first thing that I would do is decide how much time you are willing to devote to bookkeeping services themselves each month and how much time you are willing to devote to marketing. In the beginning, your time will be way more skewed toward marketing. As you start getting bookkeeping clients, that will start to balance out, and eventually you'll be doing more bookkeeping than marketing. Once you have an idea of the time that is available that aligns with your goals, the next question that needs to be answered is, what size businesses do you want to work with, or how many businesses do you want to work with? Like I mentioned earlier, I love working with startups, and since I'm full-time, I don't mind managing many books for many businesses. This may not be you. Maybe you just want to work with a few larger businesses and have them be more involved involved and complex. I don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer for this. It just really comes down to what do you want? And that's the best part about being an entrepreneur. Once you decide those two things, it's really just a math problem. You could work with 6 really large clients that are $1,000 a month, or you can work with 12 medium-sized clients that are $500 a month. The next question is about how many hours did you work when you made around $4,000 a month? So this is kind of hard for me because I was full-time. So I was working as much as I possibly could on the business to get my revenue to where I wanted it to be. With that being said, at times I was definitely working harder and not necessarily smarter. Now I work way less and make way more. I really try to work only Monday through Thursday with the occasional coaching session on Fridays or just random catch-up stuff. My last 5 months or so have been right around $10,000 in revenue. I'll show you guys a graph of what I'm talking about here, but overall it would be working spikes when I had a service or I'm updating a coaching program or doing things like starting YouTube, but overall working hours have been trending downward while income has been trending upward since I started. And I think that this will be true of most entrepreneurs. Here's the next question. When you market yourself, do you get questioned if you are a certified bookkeeper, like having a professional certification from the American Institute of Professional Bookkeepers or National Association of Certified Public Bookkeepers? This is a popular question, and the answer is a resounding no. I think generally speaking, we as bookkeepers or aspiring bookkeepers greatly overestimate the organization of small businesses. Overwhelmingly, my experience with small business owners is that when I send them a proposal for my bookkeeping services, it is for a complete overhaul of their books. They don't have anything in place in terms of systems and processes for their finances. They know how to sell and they don't want to be doing the books, so they don't. But this is my ideal client. I work with the visionary, the solopreneur, the poster child for small business roots, very down to earth. However, you may want to work with larger businesses that already have a lot of these systems and processes in place and just need to outsource their bookkeeping or upgrade it. I think about personally when I hired my VA, when I outsourced my video editing, when I worked with an accountant to get my taxes done, I didn't care about their qualifications, their certifications. I cared about 2 things. Did they understand my problems? Did they understand my pain points and could they solve them? And then also, what testimonials, what social proof do they have that they've done this for very similar clients like myself? I would focus more on those 2 things, understanding your ideal client's pain points and being able to solve them, and then also having very strong testimonials and social proof from your past or current clients. The certifications, associations, all that kind of stuff, the more formal things are just really a non-issue. However, if it makes you feel better, there is a certification on QuickBooks Online by Intuit that I do recommend. There is also a certification at the end of Bookkeeper Launch whenever you finish the final exams. In summary, I've never had anyone question whether I'm certified. It's a much better use of my time and probably your time as well to focus on your clients' pain points and solving them, and then also focusing on getting strong client testimonials. The next question is, I have some basic QuickBooks Online knowledge training. Does having that experience make this program easier to grasp? And I see this a lot, and the answer is an overwhelming yes. I've met a lot of accountants and former bookkeepers in the group that just want to up-level their marketing, or they've been working for someone else and they want to start their own business with bookkeeping. A similar question, but the completely other side of the issue, is with no programming, any bookkeeping skills, or not much software skills, can one pick this up quickly? I'm not under a rock, just saying. I personally had never touched anything having to do with small businesses, let alone small business bookkeeping software, before I purchased Bookkeeper Launch. I was desperate to get out of my full-time job, and I actually saw a Bookkeeper Launch on an article written by the Penny Hoarder. After doing some research, I took the leap. This program is specifically designed for people with zero experience. Quickly, of course, is kind of relative, but my answer overall would be yes. Here's the next question. I am still completely terrified that I don't know what I'm doing and have no idea how to start my business. I am currently working an office job, not in accounting, bored out of my mind, and getting paid almost nothing to do it. Should I take the course, or is there another route I can go since I already have my certificate? As I mentioned earlier, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, certificates don't really mean anything when starting a business. They don't qualify you to take on paid clients, and they definitely don't help you when it comes to marketing and advertising your services. To get the hands-on experience that you need and just the marketing and advertising knowledge that's going to be so handy as you're looking for your first paid client, I would really recommend you take Bookkeeper Launch. The trainings and the videos, the walkthroughs are going to be so incredibly valuable to you. There's more of like the knowledge training at first, and then there's also the practical training within the QuickBooks Online software so that you understand how bookkeeping works and you feel very confident about practically going into the software and setting someone up and doing monthly bookkeeping for them. The next question I find very interesting. I have a friend who shared BBL to me and thought we should try it out. She's a little hesitant because she views herself as an introvert and doesn't think she is capable of providing confidence to clients as someone with no finance background, but loves the aspect of bookkeeping. Would this be the right fit for someone like her? Before I answer, I would say that I definitely relate to the attributes of being an introvert. I think the question should be, is she open and willing to grow in this area? I've met a lot of very shy, quiet, introverted bookkeeping entrepreneurs that thrive in their business because when it demands of them to step up, they do. They've grown a lot in this area and they step up when the business calls them to, and they really, like I said, thrive as a result. A very reserved person who thinks I'll never be able to command a room or stand up and speak in front of a lot of people or even just meet new people or put myself out there on social media, I'll never be able to do any of those things. They probably won't do very well with this program. Here's the good news though. A lot of business owners that need bookkeepers are already outgoing, free spirit extroverts. They're pulled in 100 different directions. They are the visionary and they need that type A, very focused person who loves sitting at the computer, working the numbers and running the numbers for the business owner. They also want someone who is going to communicate with them in a timely and efficient manner. If you're quiet, if you're more reserved, I'm not saying that you'll have to become someone you're not in order to be a successful bookkeeper, but you are going to have a growth mindset when it comes to stepping up and getting outside your comfort zone. If you're willing to do that, I really think that you will be able to thrive as an entrepreneur and a bookkeeper. Another question that I like a lot is what other costs are associated with Bookkeeper Launch? Would I need to buy QuickBooks as well for the training? I assume I would need QuickBooks in order to start my own business, right? So I would say check out this video here for all of the startup costs that I go into detail about when it comes to starting your own online business. The short answer is, and the good news is, QuickBooks Online is free for accountants. In addition to that, I do recommend you have a computer or laptop, and I think that those definitely could be used. You don't have to go out and buy a new one in order to start the program. You can always wait until you have paying clients before you upgrade. I personally started my business with an old desk that we got at a garage sale, a chair that I'd had since I was a kid, a laptop that I'd had since 2010, a Squarespace website that was $100 for the whole year, a free MailChimp account, a free Calendly account, and I think my LLC was like $50. I love one-stop shop programs, and that is Bookkeeper Launch. There's not a lot of other hidden fees and things that you have to buy down the road in order to make this work. Like I said in the beginning, if you have a question that I did not hit on in this video, make sure you drop it down in the comments below and I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this button if you got value here today, and there's also going to be a link in the description box for the free Bookkeeper Launch series that you can go through and see if Bookkeeper Launch is a good fit for you. I'll see you guys in the next one.